Hello and welcome to my favourite podcast we do every year because football has the ability to make you look very smart or very stupid, and either way, that's fun. It's usually stupid. Speaking of stupid, I'm joined by Casey. Yeah, how's things, mate?
Yeah, not bad. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm very much excited for the season now. As always, I have to do our Simpsons title, which on this occasion is Mike White's podcast episode 166.
Still couldn't predict 6 o'clock at 5:30.
I tell you what, the production standards have gone through the roof.
Yeah, it's not that literally when I typed in that quote, that was the first result on Google, so it only took me 30 seconds to do. Yeah, it's we've got. I don't know if Casey is going to do any off the fly. I think I know what I'm going for all of them. There's one that I missed off the list I sent you, Casey, which is most assists for Leeds, but that doesn't take a lot to come up with one.
Everything else I have looked at and put the bare minimum amount of research into it.
Cool. That's the best kind of research. So we will. There has been a little bit of news, even though we only did a podcast a couple of days ago. So we'll quickly get through that. We talked about it last time, but it's now confirmed. Somerville 2026, Greenwood 2026, Joe Gellart 2027. Good new contracts.
I thought they were announcing presidential campaigns.
Greenwood is a presidential name. Yeah.
Joffy 2026.
There is a Twitter account that has Joffy mocked up as Donald Trump as their profile picture. I can't remember who it is, but I've seen it. Lewis Bate has joined Oxford United on a season-long loan. Leeds have a recall clause in January, and there's no permanent option.
Yeah, it's probably what's needed. I don't think another year in the under 21s, as it will be now, was going to be of much benefit to him.
No, I was hoping for nice football in the Championship for him, but by the sounds of it, the Championship options were like Rotherham, and
who will probably go back down this year. They have yo-yoed for the last few years, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are now privileged Premier League fans, so we don't do the other leagues. But when we used to, it was our Rotherham in the Championship, okay, they'll go down. Our Rotherham in League One, okay, they'll get promoted.
Well, so off the top of my head, I know I can't tell you about last season. I remember Oxford getting into the playoffs the year before, but I also don't know if that was League One or League Two.
No, I think they've been in League One for a fair bit now. They've been relatively established, I think.
Because I remember that because that's where Ben Woodburn was.
Yeah. I think that they've been up there the last couple of seasons, so hopefully they can play really well. I mean, in an ideal world, he's so shit hot that we have to bring him back in January because he's going to be involved. But so long as he just plays every week, that's the main thing. And I really like Bate. The new away kit is the other thing we need to talk about. It doesn't matter, but it happened.
It doesn't matter, but it matters. I want to see it in person in normal daylight because a lot of the studio shots they take of it are with a black background, so and a bit dimmed lighting, so it was tough to see. It looked like the trim for the sponsor was almost neon.
Yeah, that is weird. I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks when it arrives in the post because I have bought it this morning.
Oh, okay.
It's weird. It is not at all the away kit I wanted. I wanted that one that was on DHgate, basically.
Yeah. Like
everyone else did. And you can tell it did well because I've seen so many people with the shirts off DHgate. But I sort of like it when we go a bit mental. I loved that bus seat kit.
That shirt is one of my favourites from the last few years. Is that one from the playoff season?
I also liked the glow in the dark kit as well.
There's the grey one we did that I've got Robbie Gott's on the back of the grey one with the pink trim. I mean, I've got to say I've kind of enjoyed just design wise us going a bit mad, even though like I said, my ideal away kit for me is that Kappa one that was just blue with the yellow trim. Like that's a Leeds United away shirt for me. Think the Strongbow blue kit. That's the one. But and then you do the inverse of that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I would have thought as well. Just don't go mental with the home kit. Keep that really basic. If you're gonna go mental, do it with the others. But I think it's one of them though, isn't it? This will not happen. But if we win at Old Trafford in that kit, everyone will fucking love it.
Yeah.
That's basically.
I think, yeah. The kits from last season, there won't be a whole lot of love for, in as much as there's not many fond memories of them. No. But ultimately, like, I always liked the whatever you want to call it, violet. I quite like that one as because again, I think I liked it because it stuck to plain violet with simple trim. So that's kind of what I want our third, like, whatever the third kit looks like, fucking mint green.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
I'm always fearful because there will be a red one at some point.
Yeah, well, they tested the waters, didn't they?
The burgundy
with the burgundy.
Yeah, because it wasn't.
It wasn't maroon.
Yeah.
Except it sometimes was. Like that quiz.
Yeah.
That the club organised.
Yeah.
And then we all went on the club website and said, no, actually, that's how you described it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not bitter about that quiz or anything.
No. Goddamn charities. So the meat of this podcast, we will preview Wolves a bit afterwards as well. But the main bit of this is to get all our pre-season predictions down on paper. Last season, we actually tied on points on the pre-season stuff, but I have since gone back through it. KC did win. He got me on the matches.
And since we never did a Player of the Year award.
Yeah, they never released them because I'm guessing they just decided no one deserved it.
Is there a point where you finish so low down the table you just go, you know what? No.
Yeah, I think that I think there is, and it's if you get relegated.
Because I think the thing for us is as well, because typically now they do the Player of the Year awards. It's either the final or the penultimate home game of the season. It's straight after that at the Pavilion. Yeah. But I imagine when you're still deeply entrenched in a relegation fight, it's not exactly what you want to be going to.
It wasn't even we were still in the fight. I mean, at the time of the last home game, we were odds on to get relegated.
Well, I was going to say by the time it was Brighton the last home game.
Yeah,
we were in the relegation, so we were 18th and favourites to go down.
Without that Strauch header in the last minute, we were as good as down.
Like, all Joffy.
Yeah, we're in serious shit. But we'll start with the opposite of being in serious shit. As always, 5 if correct, 10 if dead on. I think basically the point system stays the same, except for the individual player goals, because that kind of broke it last year. So, KC, in order, can I have your top 4 in the Premier League?
I have got finishing 4th, Chelsea, Arsenal to finish 3rd, Liverpool to finish 2nd, and Man City to win it.
Huh. I have Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea. Which we do tend to have a bit of previous for this. I do think that this is the season that Arsenal will click.
They've made some good signings. I've got to give them that.
Yeah, Jesus is a really good signing. He's so much more mobile than Lacazette is now. I just think that that's a good signing. Zinchenko, really good in midfield, but when Kieran Tierney inevitably gets injured, he can play left back too.
Yeah, I've just I don't know if you have actually. I've started watching. Sorry, I forgot the name of it now. I was going to call it Drive to Survive. Arsenal.
All or nothing.
All or nothing. Same thing. On Arsenal, and it is funny, like listening through and thinking like that is by Premier League standards, it's a very young team. So I think getting someone like Jesus in, who has that Premier League winners experience at this point, and is not. I couldn't tell you by looking off the top of my head. I assume he's about 25, 26.
I think he's 25, but I'll have a look. He is 25.
It's probably the age of player they need to be aiming for, with a bit more Premier League nous about them, and it's just genuine quality. Fuck it, no. Arsenal are winning it now. I've talked myself into it.
I did at one point. I've moved him up to third. At one point, I had him fourth, but the problem is I could never look past the top two as the top two.
Yeah.
As much as I'd have liked to. I'll go first on these, the bottom three. In 20th place, I have Bournemouth, 19th, Fulham. 18th, before we played Cagliari, I had Leeds, but I now have Southampton.
In 20th, I have Fulham. In 19th, I have Bournemouth. In 18th, I have Southampton.
Well, at least they're not exactly the same. At least you flipped Fulham and Bournemouth. Southampton's my weird one. Not because people are expecting them to be down there. Everyone is. The thing with Southampton is, with the players they've bought like, 6 players, and it's Joe Aribo and then 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. But they are all really highly rated. Like, I would not be shocked if Southampton came 12th and they all played well. But when you bought that many youngsters, and when you finished the previous 2 seasons as badly as they did, it feels like it's coming. All they need is once to not have a good start, and I think they'll start panicking. Yeah,
it seems like a risky move to. I know, like last season, they got a couple of them in because they got Broher in, didn't they? And Livramento they signed, didn't they?
Yeah, Livramento's still there.
But yeah, it was still again bringing in these younger players to prop up that team, and it does feel like it's a team that probably not so much this summer, but has got weaker and weaker the last few years, and they are trying to prop it up with younger players that aren't that tested.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. The ins, obviously, they signed Joe Aribo from Rangers, but Amel Bella-Kotchap, the centre-back from Bochum, from what I've read, he sounds decent, but I haven't seen much. That Romeo Lavia from Man City, from their under-21s, is meant to be really good, but again, he's 18. Sekou Mara from Bordeaux, pretty good, but 19. Gavin Bazunu from Man City, he was like, he's played, I don't know, double-figure games for Ireland at this point. And I know it's a different level, but he was player of the year for Portsmouth last season on loan. And goalkeeper, I've always said, is the one position where the level doesn't matter that much. If you have a shit hot season in League Two, you're still facing loads of shots. If you're making loads of saves, you're probably a good goalkeeper. So I'm not so worried about him, but I'm really not sure quite how it's going to go. If it'll let me change tab, but there we go. Because your Premier League top scorer.
Hark at Mr. Original, I've got Mohamed Salah.
Fair.
He's good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a really good player in a really good team, isn't he? Speaking of really good players in really good teams, it's a bit of a risk actually, because it's as good as he is, he does have injuries, and it's his first season. But Erling Haaland, I think he's going to miss 8 games for injury and still score like 27 goals.
Yeah. I think physically, I don't think it'll take him too long to adapt to the Premier League looking at him.
No. Although, if I'd never seen him before and I'd just watched the Community Shield, I'd be saying they should be playing Alvarez instead. I'm just glad that we didn't both go for Haaland, to be honest. Obviously, I thought about Kane as well, but I don't think Spurs are going to have a great season. I've done a full 1 to 20 that'll come out on Through It All Together at 5 o'clock today. And when my reason for Spurs not having a great season is just because my gut tells me they won't. Like, there is no logical reason. They've got good players and a really good manager, and I just, for some reason, don't think it's going to work. In the Premier League, Casey, your top assister.
I've gone for Mason Mount.
Oh, interesting.
I think he was top 5 or top 6 last season. But yeah, I've not got a lot to say about it. Again, just a good player.
The one I've gone for, I think he was second last year, and now he's got someone who is more likely to score directly from him than before. I've gone for Trent Alexander-Arnold because I think Liverpool will score slightly fewer goals than they did last season, but they, in theory, should be slightly less spread out. And Trent Alexander-Arnold loves a cross, and Darwin Núñez loves getting on the end of a cross.
Like Luciano Becchio loves getting on the end of a cross.
They're basically the same player.
Yeah.
One where I'm scared we'll have the same. First Premier League boss to get sacked or leave.
Just because I kept saying it now, I've gone for Ralph Hasenhüttl, and I think he'll resign. I think at some point it's just going to go that wrong that he's going to have to walk away. But I don't know how after these last 2 seasons he's still been in a job when they've had the disastrous runs they've had in the second half.
So I am almost 100% sure that this athletic notification I just got was cut off at the wrong point. But I just better check. Yes, Thomas Tuchel leading the way, but it was cut off at Thomas Tuchel LEA. So, I was like, he has it. What do you mean leaves?
That's the article about which managers make the most excuses. I did. I haven't read it yet, but I have seen the title for that.
For a second, I thought we were on about that, and he'd left. Mind you, given some of his interviews in pre-season, you won't be that shocked.
Jurgen Klopp, I'm surprised it's not him.
Sometimes you just have to go with your heart. Frank Lampard.
Do you think he'll get sacked, or do you think he'll throw a strop and?
No, I think he'll get sacked. I've got Everton avoiding relegation by a couple of places, and the write-up is they'll be in the relegation zone, sack Frank Lampard, and then be okay. Because that's what I think will happen. But you've got Rabbit Hutch. That's the translation of Hasenhüttl, isn't it? Yeah. FA Cup winners.
Again, because these are just completely random, I've got Newcastle because I think they're really going to want to go for it in the Cups at some point. You can't be the Magpies and this averse to winning silverware.
You'll very, very good line. You'll notice a pattern with me. For the FA Cup, I've got Man City. And I may as well say now that for the League Cup, I've got Man City.
Did you have them for the Community Shield?
Well, we didn't bother with the Community Shield.
Retroactively, what would you have gone for?
I'd have still gone for Man City. Who have you got for the League Cup?
I've got Arsenal. Because, again, I think at some point, Arteta needs to get a trophy.
If it wasn't for me having that weird feeling about Spurs, I was thinking Spurs for that. But I'll give you one guess as to who I've gone for the Champions League, Casey.
Is it Man City?
It is Man City. Because I have said, I am on the record on here of saying I will go for Man City to win the Champions League every year until they do.
I was tempted to go with the same thing, but in an attempt to inspire Man City to win the Champions League, I picked Barcelona. I assume by the time the business end of the Champions League comes around, and even the group stages, they'll have sorted out this financial snafu they're written about with Frankie de Jong and being able to register players.
And I believe they've asked Piqué and Busquets to take another deferral.
Did you see that there was, I don't think it might have been from Transfermarkt, it was a list of their annual and weekly wages. And like all of their first 18 to 20 players are all on over 100 grand a week. And I was just there going, this is insanity.
Yeah, well,
financially, this is there's a reason you're in this position.
Yeah, well, again, obviously, you have I'd say there's no way it's true because of the finances, but with these, you never know. Apparently, they have agreed personal terms with Bernardo Silva. And apparently, they are trying to hijack the Cucurella to Chelsea deal.
How does this happen? But the whole issue seems to be that Frankie de Jong's still umming and ahhing about whether to leave or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's only so much money they're going to save by him leaving.
It is just insane.
How much are they paying him?
I think Frankie de Jong's on like 350 grand a week or something daft. It's big money.
But even the players they're trying to register, that's far beyond that.
Do you think that Rafinha was so desperate to go that he's actually on about 25 grand a week?
According to the thing I saw earlier, it's about 240. So
Yeah, right.
he's doing okay if he's actually getting paid and able to play in La Liga.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to do what Rangers talked about doing when there was talks of them trying to sign Ronaldo, where you've just got certain players that only play in the Champions League?
What, like they'll side him and go, look, this is your wage, but we're only paying you half that because you only have to play half the time.
Yeah, Lewandowski, Champions League only, pal. Take it easy. Week before a game, just keep yourself at this weight, you'll be fine.
Yeah, just keep yourself fit for World Cup. The Europa League. I'll go first on this. It worked out last year because he loves a trophy. I've gone for Roma.
I've gone for Arsenal again.
Fair enough.
I suppose it depends on how the season's looking, but having not had Champions League football for a while, winning a European trophy and guaranteeing yourself a place in the Champions League for the first time in a couple of years would put Arteta in the good books.
Yeah, I believe they are favourites for it. But whoever the highest sort of ranked English team is always the favourite.
It's them. Bear in mind the two teams in there. It's them and Scum.
Yeah. And I mean,
look at you now, you big clubs. Look at you now.
You'd swap, wouldn't you? In terms of
no, you can take your unbeaten season and stick it up your ass, can't you?
Yeah.
Where did it get you? Got you a little trophy.
Yeah, I've Jose Mourinho, that cup competitions, that's his thing. He'll be. So the hardest one to predict, and of course, 100% record. Nailed it last year with Roma. But the hardest competition to pick, because right now there are 0 confirmed teams in the Europa Conference League.
Oh no, there's some.
No, there's some that are confirmed to be in the qualifying rounds.
Oh, right, yeah.
But they haven't got to that bit yet.
It could all go so wrong so quickly.
Have you got one written down?
I have. I've gone for Villarreal.
Fuck, we've gone for the same thing.
It was them or West Ham. It was like...
Yeah.
That's all I had.
I'm genuinely going to have a glance. Because see if there's someone, because it's really boring if we go for the same one. But like, I dare say you had a similar reasoning of, well, look who's in it. They're a good side. Unai Emery loves winning a European trophy.
Nice, maybe.
I'm going to go for Fiorentina.
When you look at the teams in the round, God, I hope Dundee United do it just for my mate Glenn. But
yeah. And I'm also going to put a little note next to it that I switched, so that I can be doubly annoyed at the end of the season.
Honest to God, I wish we were in this competition from the first qualifying round, because I'd love to go to, let's have a look, St. Joseph's of Gibraltar. Because why not? Travel all the way to Bala Town of Wales. Yeah,
and the good thing with them is they're so far flung that you don't even feel like the flights are going to quadruple in price every time. They'll go up a bit.
You know when Ryanair said that they're taking you to Barcelona, but it's actually not? The airport is actually in the towns where these clubs live, are from. Like, it's actually more convenient.
Yeah. Well, maybe next season. I think that is it for our just Premier League general ones. Do you want to... I'm assuming all the likely, unlikely stuff that you've done is Leeds-based?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do them first before the main predictions. just because I think it's because we should finish on our finishing position, shouldn't we?
Are we doing our out there bets?
Oh yeah, we can do our notable mad shit if you want. Which I've nicked the phrase "notable mad shit" is directly nicked from how the Football Ramble do theirs.
Okay.
That's what they call it.
Mine does not feel that mad, to be honest.
We'll see if it's mad enough. If it isn't at all mad, then we'll make you come
I'll try and come up with something else before the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I've just come up with that Fulham don't win an away game all season. I've got a feeling.
It's not like insane, but it was. I'd say it's unlikely enough.
Good. I'll go with that then.
Yeah. Mine is madder.
You might inspire me with these. I might come up with more then if I go off your
I mean,
ideas.
I did come up with 3. One of them, the one I'm going to go with, isn't even really football. All Elite Wrestling run an angle at half-time of a home match.
should specify that is for Fulham.
Yeah.
Cross promotion. I like
people
it.
that won't care, but Tony Khan, whose father Shad Khan owns Fulham. Tony Khan is Fulham's director of football. He also runs a wrestling company called All Elite Wrestling. I think at some point they'll be on a UK. They will do a UK show at some point this year, and in promoting it, they will be on the pitch interviewing probably Darby Allin and somebody.
Darby Allin's jumping off the top of one of the stands.
Yeah, and Darby Allin will jump off something onto someone.
Oh my God, Darby Allin! He stood on top of the Michael Jackson statue.
I think
what's he gonna do?
That's the one I'll go for. But the 2 that are football based are. You know what? I won't. I've got it specified, but I could. It's still mad enough without. A player scores 6 goals in a Premier League match.
Okay.
Probably Haaland. And my other one that I thought about was Cristiano Ronaldo will join Newcastle in January.
Ooh. Now that it seems like no Champions League club particularly wants him.
Yeah, he'll just say,
He'll
okay.
just go. He'll just go, well, who's going to pay a lot then?
Newcastle will be like 7th and trying to really kick on. And they'll just throw all the money at him. Oh. And Ten Hag will go, yeah, I think he's fine.
It's like he's not for sale, but if someone wants to take him away.
But yeah, there will be some form of actual pro wrestling spot done at halftime of a Fulham home game, is mine.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the match of the day reaction to it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't cover it because it's for an ITV product. Yeah,
it depends who's on. If Micah Richards is on, he'll love it. If Ian Wright's on, he'll probably love it.
Hey, if there's two flies like headbutting a window, Micah Richards loves it.
Yeah. So, Casey, I believe that you have some likely or unlikely.
I've got my 5 likely unlikelies here.
Which is basically, even though it's called likely unlikely, is basically Casey sets a scenario. Do we think it'll happen?
Yeah. So my first one for you is Robin Koch, Diego Llorente, Pascal Stroud, and Liam Cooper all to score this season.
Koch, Llorente, Stroud, and
Cooper. All for the 4 central defenders, basically.
All score just in the league, or does it include the cup?
I'll go as far as I'll stretch to the cups as well. We won't be in them for long enough for it to matter. So
we're going to be a lot more of a set piece team this year, so I'm going to say yes.
All right. Secondly, Patrick Bamford to captain more games than Liam Cooper this season.
Bamford captain more than Cooper.
Because it looks like
that's interesting.
Ayling is usually the number 2, but he's not going to start as many this season.
No, because in his press conference today, it sounded like Ayling will be back sooner than expected, but I still don't think he's going to be getting the side. I'm going to say no, because I think when Cooper gets fit, whoever of Cock and Llorente is playing worse gets dropped because we don't have a left back, and I think Strauch ends up staying there.
All right.
So I think Cooper will get his captaincy back.
Number 3, Archie Gray to start 5 or more league games.
5. No, not start. He might make 5 league appearances, though, but I don't think he'll start.
Next one, Leeds to score more than 50 goals this season. To put that into context, last season we scored 42. The season before we scored 62.
I mean, just league.
Oh, sorry, league goals, yeah.
Yeah, Leeds score more than 50. No, I think we'll be just below that.
I was looking because in the table last season, the 3 lowest goal scorers in the division all went down. We were a couple of goals ahead of Burnley, but it was weird to see that Brighton had scored as many goals as us and finished 7th or whatever it was.
Yeah, because they knew how to defend.
Yeah.
Well, there's always that mental stat that goes around, isn't there? That what was it? One year, like I think it was really early 90s, AC Milan won the league and they scored 36 goals in 34 games.
That's a George Graham setup if ever I've heard one.
Yeah, and they won the league because they just didn't concede any.
And last one, Leeds to win at least 2 games against the top 4 clubs by the end of whoever it is at the end of the season. To win 2 or more of the 8 games.
So Leeds to win at least 2 versus the end of season top 4.
Yeah.
I'd have to say no again.
We didn't beat any of them last season, did we?
Did we even get a point last season?
Don't know. We lost both to Chelsea.
We lost both against Scum. I'm going top 6 in my head. We lost both against Scum.
We lost both by Man City.
We lost both against Arsenal. We got battered twice by Man City. We got
Liverpool
battered twice by Liverpool. We got battered at home by Chelsea and lost 3-2 quite unluckily away.
Spurs beat us both times.
And Spurs beat us 2-1 at their place and 4-0 at Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm staying with no.
Yeah.
I know we set up different, and I think we may well get a draw out of something now.
Oh, there you go. Those are your 5 likely unlikelies.
What are you going for those, Casey?
I'm going to say it's unlikely that the 4 central defenders score.
Yep.
I'm going to say it's likely that Bamford captains more games than Liam Cooper this season. Unlikely that Archie Gray starts 5 or more games. I'm going to say it's likely that we score more than 50 goals. I don't think it'd be much in it, though. And I'm going to say unlikely to winning at least 2 games against the top 4 clubs.
I think that's the key one, the more than 50 goals. Because if you're right, if Leeds score more than 50 goals, we will be fine this season. Because the only way you can go down scoring 50 goals is if you're full Bielsa mental. And like lose a load of games 5-3 and things like that. And that isn't going to happen under Marsh.
Yeah, just looking like Burnley and Watford went down last season with 34. Season before that, West Brom were the highest scorers with 35. And the season before that, Bournemouth went down with 40.
Yeah, like I think that's a big one. Like if we score enough goals, we'll be. And that's why, because I said before the Cagliari friendly, I had us going down. And it is because I couldn't see us scoring enough goals. And even though that was only a friendly, I can now see how we're going to score goals.
Yeah.
Just there was actual link-up play and stuff like that. And that gave me enough because I really didn't want to think we're going to go down. Of course, it didn't take much for me to go, good, right, confidence. But yeah, we have what are pretty much at this point our stock Leeds United questions for the season, finishing with what our finishing position will be. And starting with one that has changed but is the same. Will Jesse Marsh last the season?
Yes, I think he does.
I've also gone yes. I don't think that you are. I don't think it's going to be a rousing success, and I think they'll probably be under pressure at some point, but I think he'll get through it.
Yeah. I think we will be fine if unspectacular.
Yeah, well, we'll say I don't. Fine just means avoiding relegation, so I think we'll be fine. Another one that we had last year: will Leeds make a first team signing in January?
I'm going no, but it depends how the left back situation plays out in the first half of the season.
Well, in theory, we should have signed one before.
Yeah,
we should sign one in this window.
I still don't think we do, because I don't think it's a Bielsa thing. I think it's also a Victor Orta thing. You know, they've said before about the lack of value there. So unless it comes out that someone has got 6 months left on their contract and we see the value in signing them, then I don't see it happening.
This year I've gone for yes, but I mean, last year we both went for yes and said because there's no way we can avoid it with the squad we've got, and we didn't. So you may well be right that it doesn't happen, but I've gone for yes, but I think it'll only be one. I think it will only be one.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is there'll be a lot of play. I think there'll be a lot of player moves in January this year compared to normal, because I think you'll get a lot of World Cup based transfers. And I think everyone will be trying to jump on that.
See where Gareth Bale ends up after the World Cup.
He'll just stay at LAFC. He seems happy. For the goals, because it was like there was more points available. It is now 5 if you're dead on and 2 if you're within 1. Because there's too many of them, and it sort of broke the system a bit last time.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, these are all. Did we just do league or did we include cup last season? I can't remember.
I think we just do league.
Well, we'll stick at league then. Patrick Bamford.
16.
16. I have 12 down because I don't think he'll play every game. I think we'll rest him sometimes now because Marsh is willing to do that. But I think I'm just hoping he has a really good start because now Calvert-Lewin's injured, it gives him a chance.
Yeah.
Rodrigo.
We just need someone to crock Ollie Watkins early doors as well, and he's a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Rodrigo, I've got 7.
I have 5 down. But I'm assuming that you would have been lower than that a couple of weeks ago.
If not for the friendly.
Yeah, it's not
3.
just that he scored; it's that now suddenly you think, oh, he's actually going to be in the starting lineup now.
Yeah.
Jack Harrison.
I've gone with 9 for my boy.
9. I've gone 7. The last 2 seasons he's got 8, so that seems reasonable. For what it's worth, if he does fuck off to Newcastle, they stand.
Yeah.
If he goes somewhere else in the Premier League. Joffy.
I think I've gone a bit optimistic on this one, but I've gone 8. Despite the fact I don't think he's going to start that many.
It's more optimistic than me, but not by much. I've gone 6. Because I think the difference between this season and last season is I think he will get on pretty much every game. I think
that was the frustration under Bielsa when it'd be like, Leeds need a goal. Mateus Click is warming up. You're like, but Gelhardt's there.
Yeah, this season, especially with the change of manager and 5 subs, I can't see many games where we will at least get 10, 15 minutes.
You would assume that if we are losing a game with 20 minutes left, he will be the sub that comes on.
Yeah.
Him or a winger.
Yeah.
To play centrally.
Brendan Aronson.
Oh, I haven't got Brendan Aronson.
Oh, I may have added 2 to this as well, actually, come to think of it.
There we are. Brendan Aronson, I will go with 6.
Close to me again. I went for 5. And last one I've got for these is Luis Sinistera, who, by the way, is apparently back on the grass and should be back properly training much sooner than expected.
Yeah. For Luis Sinistera, I've gone with 5.
With anyone again, I've gone for 4. But I think that's the one that could make us look very silly. Because if he kicks on the way he plays, if he does play well, he'll probably score a lot more than that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it. I think early doors, it'll be a struggle for him to get in ahead of Aronson and Harrison because of the defensive side of the game that you get from those two.
You see, originally, before Rodrigo had this form, I was assuming Aronson was going to end up in the middle and you'd end up with Harrison and Sinistera.
Yeah.
But now, if Rodrigo starts the season well, he'll probably keep his place at least for a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've gone for 4. Probably my 2 favourite questions we do for this. First new international cap.
That is actually quite a tough one this year.
Yeah, I could only come up with a couple of options, to be honest.
The 3 I was thinking it would be Jack Harrison, Pascal Strauch, depending on which country he eventually chooses.
Yeah, because like if he'd have been willing to just pick Belgium, he'd have already got one by now.
Yeah. And Ilan Meslier. And I've gone with Meslier. And I know they've got a lot of options as goalkeeper.
Yeah.
But I feel at some point he's going to get a game in a friendly, or I think it might just be one, and that's it. I don't know if he'll keep his place, but I think at some point he'll get a cap if he's doing well in a mediocre Premier League side.
Yeah, basically so that he can't live in England for 5 years and just become England's goalkeeper.
We'll solve a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously those are options. I think that if it was just on who deserves it, I'd probably go for Strauch. But with the World Cup coming up, I think it's too late now. I don't think he gets a look in until the next international cycle.
Yeah.
Again, if it was a few months earlier, Ghana have been trying to talk everyone who's eligible into playing for them. Like Hudson-Odoi and Nketiah have made themselves available, and JB is eligible. So he was a potential, but again, I don't think he's making his mind up that quick. So in the end, I've gone for, because I just feel like we're gonna get an injury early in the season, and this lad's gonna play, and just playing every week in the Premier League for a few weeks will get him a cap. Leo Hjelde. He's already firmly in the 21s squads. He plays a lot. And I just think that with Firpo being out, I think at some point early in the season, he's going to get a run of like 4 games at left back. It'll be enough to get him in a squad and he'll get 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I would love it to be Jack Harrison. I would love him to just be shit hot at the start of the season and get picked.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Gareth Southgate's always at Ellen Road.
Yeah. It's a nice, easy trip for him, isn't it? First under-21 league debut. And it has to be the league because a few of them are going to play. A few of them will play the first League Cup game. Probably the only League Cup game it's us.
Yeah, this was a tough one just because of how many of them ended up playing last season. Has Cody Drammer played for us in the league?
Yeah, he started against Arsenal last season.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, I knew he. Sorry, yeah.
He got ripped to bits by Gabriel Martinelli
because he came off the bench against Arsenal in the cup, didn't he? As well.
Yeah.
I've gone for GAB. I classed him as an under-21 signing. I'm happy for you to overrule that one if you.
I am okay with you having JB because I'll be honest. In my box, in my box, I currently have 2 names written down, and one of them was him. So in that case, I'm going to say Archie Gray.
Yeah, I kind of figured Archie Gray would probably be.
I don't know if there's like there was an.
He's just skipped under 23s, hasn't he? Really?
If he'd have been allowed to sign earlier and done a full pre-season, I think Sonny Perkins would have been a possible. Because that's definitely an under 21 signing. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that you could really that you think might get one. Because like Klassen, although it was only 20 minutes, he has done it.
Yeah, unless there is a collapse with the goalkeeping and Harry Christie has to make his debut, which again would be a jump for him because he didn't really.
Oh, speaking of that, by the way, Marsh made it sound very much like we are signing a senior goalkeeper, and Klassen will probably go out on loan. But did you hear the stuff about Danny van den Heuvel?
No.
Right, we just missed this, and by the sounds of it, everyone did, because there's a tweet from like a Dutch football account from a month ago with like three retweets. Like Van den Heuvel and like 4 other Dutch under 20 players were in a really bad car accident. Like really, and Van den Heuvel broke a few vertebrae. By the sounds of it, he's all right, and he'll be back playing in a couple of months. But they obviously were. Marsh basically said we didn't really talk about it because we weren't worried about his playing career. We were just worried about him.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's going to be okay. But just as you mentioned, young goalkeepers, which explains why Christie had jumped up a bit in pre-season, because it probably would have been him. I'm just looking at the 23s now. Like, I mean, McKinstry's already played. I would think that out of the ones that are there, if he's fit, maybe Max Dean might be able to sneak onto a bench at some point. And
yeah, I was trying to think because as it stands, looking at the squad, we're fairly well set at centre back. There's no one in there really who there's not a particularly good left back in there that you'd
there isn't a left back at all.
Well, yeah.
We sold him to Stoke.
Yeah, Gelder's already played.
Yeah.
Once Alien's back, we'll be fairly set at right back again. There's definitely it would take a minor miracle for Jack Jenkins or someone to end up getting a game from centre mid because of the dearth of options we now have. So it kind of comes down to Max Dean basically, or maybe Fernandez.
I was going to say Mateo Joseph. He has a chance as well.
Yeah.
He could sneak onto a bench or two, and maybe if he has a good season, maybe Charlie Allen. But I don't see any of them getting in the league minutes this season. But Gray and JB, I think they're the best bet. But the thing that does make it difficult is that so many of the ones that you think it might be already did play last season.
Yeah. The 12 combined minutes, 3 of them got last season.
Yeah. Like, from what I've seen of him, if he hadn't already played, the one I'd be banging on about would be Yelder. But because he's already played, he doesn't count. So, Casey, your player of the year?
I've gone for Brendan Aronson. I think again because it's typically a fan vote as well now, isn't it? And I think he has the potential to be the hard-working Pablo Hernandez.
I'll tell you what, if it's a fan vote, I might change mine to Rasmus Christensen because everyone loves him, and the club is even pushing this narrative of him being a hard case and stuff. But no, I'll stick with what I went for. Sometimes you just fall in love with a player in pre-season.
It's actually great.
No, it's Mark Locker. I said from that first 10 minutes of watching him against Blackpool, I went, him. I like him. He's my kind of footballer, and I just think he's going to be really good. So I've gone for him. I'm really hoping that he if he's 80% of what he is in my head, he's going to be brilliant. For the young player of the year, who have you gone for?
I kind of imagine we will have the same person for this one. I've gone for Joe Gelhardt.
I mean, it is a very, very, very reasonable pick, but it's not who I've got. Because I've got Brendan Aronson. Because he's only 21 now. So he'll still be eligible.
As we know by Calvin Phillips, 24.
Yeah. So I've got Aronson for Young Player of the Year. But, I mean, if Gellart, all he needs to do is force his way into the starting 11 on the regular, which isn't the easiest thing in the world, but he's got enough talent to do it. If he does that, he'll probably win it.
I don't think he even needs to do that. Such is... Like, I think if we'd have done the awards this season, I think he wins Young Player of the Year, hands down.
Oh, yeah, if they'd have actually released it this year, definitely. I mean, the thing that can always mess it up is that Melier, I think, is still eligible.
He's 18, I think.
Yeah. I reckon we'll probably have the same for this, but top scorer?
Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, I've got Bamford as well. There's not really a way around it. And I think it was Phil Hay that asked Jesse Marsh today about, so how are you going to try and bring Gellart on? He's ready to be given this. He said he is, but he made clear to say, if Bamford stays fit, he'll be getting the minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, there's no doubt about it. Most assists for Leeds.
I'm gonna go Jack Harrison.
Jack Harrison. I've gone for Brendan Aronson for that. Just the thing that made me mind up was when he started taking them set pieces in the friendly.
Yeah.
I know they did spread them around, like Harrison took a few as well, and Rodrigo, I think, took some as well. They do like spread them out a bit, but because Aronson, I think, is going to be the one that ends up on a lot of them. I think he'll end up getting it. And the what I consider the main event prediction: 20 points if you're dead on, 15 within 1, 10 within 2, 5 within 3. But obviously minus 10 if you're off by 10. I doubt that's going to happen. I hope it does, though, because I have a feeling that means we'll have done really well.
Yeah.
I have, in the end, gone for 15th place.
Oh, Jay, you're such a pessimist.
Not as much as I was a week ago. Say it. I had us 18th, and I was pretty set.
Okay, you've got to be positive. You've got to look at the new recruits. Look at how it went against Cagliari. The fact they seem to understand the playing style now, and that's why I went 13th.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 14th. So 13th. Oh, I mean, I would take both of them, to be honest. So long as we stay up, but as I say, it's a weird one this season because that we have gone past that like constant going upwards now, and now we're at a weird position where like stationary this year isn't good enough because it was cat's pube away from getting relegated. But if we had 3 seasons in a row where you were like 14th, you'd get bored of it, but you couldn't say that's unsuccessful.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a weird one. So yeah, I have saved that document. They are all there. And there is a big table at the bottom with about 40 lines on it, 38 league games, and we'll get knocked out in the first round of both cups. With all the games on. Because this year, I mean, we can still give we probably should still give a score prediction. I mean, we can even run it as 2 separate ones, pick a bet and... pick a bet and pick a score. But we'll go on to Wolves, which should take us just past the hour.
Yeah. It's
obviously, by the way, obviously Jack Field must have arrived because we did do this. What do we think of the Stilton kit? Which, by the way, have you seen it next to that block of cheese?
Yeah. So when I went to football last night with Jack, he was talking about it. And I'd somehow not seen the kit until the evening. Yeah, I'll say I kind of like it. It's a bit different. I'll probably end up buying it.
It's not great, but I bought it this morning, so it can't be that bad either. So Wolves on Saturday. Wolves is a weird one because Wolves are being tipped to struggle by a lot of people, as are we. They haven't really done a great deal in the transfer market. Like they've signed Nathan Collins, haven't they, from Burnley?
Which I was quite surprised about on Burnley's end, to be honest, given the players they were already set to lose. I know they've got a decent fee because it's about 20 million.
Yeah, I suppose if it was 20 odd million, and they've made Hwang Hee-chan permanent, and they've got Adama Traore back off that loan at Barca.
It's like that was a weird signing.
That was a weird transfer, wasn't it? But the main thing with Wolves in pre-season is they've switched to a back four, which I wouldn't have done. Like they set up really well with that back three, and it gets the best out of Conor Gody, and I don't like him in the back four. The pre-season results there's been nothing major really to talk about, but the squad is basically the same as last season, and they weren't great.
No, I'm just looking through because I've clearly not paid as much attention to them, but it's interesting seeing like Fabio Silva's gone out on loan.
Didn't he go to Anderlecht?
Yeah. Sorry, there's Dadashov that's gone to Grasshoppers, and where it says fee on transfer marks, it's just a question mark.
Yeah, you get a few of them.
Not free transfer, not a loan, not a fee, just.
Oh, and that Francisco Trincao, who played well against us last season, he's gone back to Barca, and then I think Sin's gone on loan to like Sporting Lisbon.
Was that basically a loan exchange?
No, because Trincao was there all season.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so they've lost a couple and brought in a centre back and a striker that they already had.
Yeah, like you say, it's probably. I do wonder with this team if there needs to be something of a refreshing with the squad on the whole. I know there's kind of the school of thought that you've got a group of players that have played together for a fair while now, so they understand it. But again, if you're changing the system now, I mean, it's probably best for us if they go into a back four now, because at Molineux they really got in behind us out wide, didn't they?
Yeah,
I don't know if that'll take away something from that, because they were playing, what was it, back three with wing backs.
Yeah, they were playing like basically. They sometimes played sort of a 5-2-1-2, but against us they played a 5-2-3, so they had wing backs and wide players, and just got it wide and beat us every time. And then they got the red card, and then we had the amazing comeback. But from what I can piece together, looking at their lineups and stuff, it's 4-2-3-1 now. And this, obviously, I don't know exactly what the team will be, but I think it'll be Jose Sarr in goal, Semedo at right back, Conor Cody alongside one of Nathan Collins and Max Kilman, and that Rayane Nori at left back. Central midfield two, Neves and Matinho, maybe Dendonka in for one of them. Neves and Matinho, although it's a technically very good central midfield, there's no legs in that midfield. And them getting pressed by the likes of Aronson and Harrison, who will come inside onto the central players, and Adams as well. I could see us getting some joy out of that. But the opposite problem, like Raul Jimenez is injured. That's a big thing. So they have been playing, by the looks of it, Podence up front. But it could be Hwang Hee-chan. Either way, loads of pace. Quite skillful ability to run in behind. And then sort of the three behind the striker, I think is going to end up being, looking at the lineups, probably Traore on the right, Pedro Neto on the left, and Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah.
Who had a shit hot loan at Forest, didn't he, last season? At Forest? No. Was he at Forest or was he at... My brain's gone weird on me. Because he was on loan at Sheffield United, and Forest have had 3 bids rejected for him this week. That's why my brain was being weird. But yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White, who, by the looks of it, by everything that you read and see, was shit hot last season in the Championship. And they keep turning down big bids, so I'm guessing they're going to give him a chance.
Yeah. I'll be interested. I know this is the stretch now going back to a single game from last season, but I remember watching Wolves against Newcastle around that time. We were still wanting Newcastle to drop points because they could have just about been dragged into it. And Hwang was up front on his own, and he offered.
Sorry, Hwang, not Kwang. Kwang is a wrestler.
Hwang. I said Hwang.
No, it just came through with Mike as Kwang.
Cool whip. Hwang. He was absolutely just bullied out of the game, playing up front on his own.
Well, he will get bullied playing football in that mask.
The Kwang.
Throwing spinning wheel kicks all the time.
With his unique body shape.
Yeah. Bloody Savio Vega.
He ruined King of the Ring. But yeah, I mean, I suppose tactically, outside of the shifting formation, you're not going to get too much of a change from Wolves from the last few years. It wasn't the biggest shift when Bruno Lage came in. There's decent players there, but like you say, there's not been a lot of overhaul. There's not been a lot of turnover in the squad. And I do feel with us having a bit of dynamism in midfield now, it's definitely going to be a lot more competitive than it was last time when it was 11v11.
Yeah, I think this match is going to be really scrappy. Just the way that because it's now both going to be sort of 4-2-3-1. It's going to imagine. I think obviously the way that we press, them not having much pace, I think it's going to turn into a bit of a scrap this game. Like, I can't see there being many goals. We still haven't changed his mind from 2 days ago. I'm assuming that we will have the same team as we had against Cagliari.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I've thought about it, there's no way I see us changing that now because unless I found out that Joffrey had scored 7 goals in that behind closed door game, there's no way the change in Rodrigo after that.
No. So we'll be Melier, Christensen, Koch, Llorente, Strauch, Adams and Rocker, Aronson and Harrison, and then Rodrigo and Bamford.
Yeah.
So we're going to do 2 things this year. For the sake of the maths, I'm going to say that it's a £10 bet every time, just because it's easier at the end of the season to say. I mean, it's not much harder to do a fiver, you just have it, but it just makes for cleaner numbers. So we'll do the scores and then we'll do 1 bet for the game if you were going to have a tenner on it. And I'll be honest, the one I've picked out, I actually have had a tenner on it because I think it's a really good bet. So first things first, you score.
The way to start the season with the KC Classic 2-1 win.
2-1 win. I think that this is going to be really low scoring, as I was saying before. But I'm actually feeling I'm looking at their team and I don't really reckon a great deal to it at the minute. It's certainly not one that we have to win, but I'm going to say we nick it 1-0.
No, that's fair.
And my... I almost don't want to go first because you might just match my bet because I think it's a good one.
I don't really have one. I'm scrolling through Paddy Power right now, so you go for it.
I mean, if you don't come up with one, you can always just back 2-1. But my sort of mythical tenner, Sky bet 3-1 that Mark Rocker gets a card.
Ooh.
And I think that's massive. I think he's absolutely nailed on to get booked.
Ooh. Let's have a look here as I scroll through. Oh, Ian Pervader's on there. I love when you look through these things of the players that are absolutely not going to play. You know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 14-1.
Ooh,
Rasmus Christensen to score first.
He's on one. It's 14-1 to score first.
Yes.
I'm just going to look at a different bookie because that seems like a terrible. I know he scored a fair few goals last season, but that seems like a terrible price. I'm not going to shop around everywhere and like.
I'm on Paddy Power.
I'm sure that will be much bigger other places.
The Pascal strike is 45-1. That's the bet I should go for.
Well, I'll just give you the Sky bet price of 18-1.
All right, fair enough.
Because that is a terrible price. 18-1. If you wanted it, the any time for him is 7-1. Also, they're doing it again. It's a tougher game because they're playing Sheffield United, but Charlie Cresswell is 16-1 to score any time again this weekend, which is just it's too big. He probably isn't going to score 2 again, but he shouldn't be 16-1.
Yeah.
Jake Cooper is also 16-1, being the even bigger centre back. But yeah, I've got them in the sheet. So if Christensen scores the first goal, KC will go into a massive lead immediately, and can just
rest on my laurels.
Can just spend the rest of the season backing over 1.5 goals in every game. I remember back when we were in the Championship, I used to listen to the Top 20 podcast every week. They started doing a thing. They did a betting show where they did this, and it was who ended up with the most at the end. And I can't remember, but one of them was miles behind at the end and just started tipping up centre backs to score the first goal in every game. And there was a week where he hit like 2, I think.
I'm hopeful that Rasmus Christensen summons his inner Luke Ayling. I don't know his wasn't the first goal in that game, but that's how I want him to start.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't remember the exact numbers, but didn't Rasmus Christensen get like 10 goals, 8 assists last season?
I don't know. Is the honest answer to that?
So that will do us. So we've both gone for a win. But, that in the early season, stuff like that, you're always going to think. So, and you've got us 13th. How sort of confident are you that we'll avoid serious trouble?
The thing with being 13th is that it's only going to be fairly late into the season when you'll be safe. But I do think, I don't think we'll be scrambling around in January because we're that much in trouble again. I would say probably by the end of February, I think we'll be safe.
It's a weird one because obviously everyone plays everyone twice, so the fixtures shouldn't matter that much. But the fact that we've got a relatively nice start to the season is helping me. Because the players seem fairly confident now. So if they can pick up some points early, I think that'll be enough to just get them through. And keep, if they then have a bad run, the fact that it won't be, we've had a bad run and we're right down there immediately, I think should be enough. But it does obviously the downside, if you do have this run, if you start badly, all of a sudden you're terrified.
I think the other thing is that, and we said this before, that there's no real run of games where you think we might not pick up a point in the next 4 or something like that. Like we had those a couple of times last season. We had it around Christmas and then that again towards the back end of the season when we had sort of Chelsea, Man City, and who else was it around then?
Well, we had Chelsea, Man City, and Spurs quite near each other.
Yeah, I don't know if it was that, but we had that run where a couple of runs where you were just looking, going, "Oh Christ, we might not and probably won't pick up points here."
Well, yeah, that'll do us for episode 166. We will come back to that after the season, see how we've done. Hopefully we'll come out of it well. But yeah, we will. We might. Are you off work Monday?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Well, we might well be back Monday then to do one post game because that'll probably be my best day next week. Because I'm also off that day. So yeah, that'll do us. I've been Jack. See you.
I'm in KC. Have a good one.